Hello, episode 41 of our podcast. Today we have a special, a premiere. So may we introduce our first female guest on the podcast. She comes from Denmark. She's a freshly new signed Porsche driver. She's almost married to Jules Gounon, who would give us plenty of topics to talk about. So let's see if they sleep in separate rooms tonight or not. She has a very interesting career coming up and achieving one of her dreams to be a factory driver. And we're going to listen to her side of the story and how it is to be a female in motorsport. So, ladies and gentlemen, according to Wikipedia, Michelle Sophie Gatting. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
How are you?
Well, thank you very much for the introduction. Luckily, I have one more name. I'm not mentioning it because it's way too complicated.
Let me call you. I'm good.
And that's, so I'm okay with the Michelle Sophie Gatting. I can live with that. But yeah, thank you for the introduction.
You're welcome.
We're studying the whole week already before it. He was nervous. He said,
Well, at least somebody's doing it. It's like always, I'm the like the program says, I'm the host, and then I have two guests.
Yeah, exactly.
actually, it's
Pretty good.
not true, huh?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Just going to say.
So as well for people, because if you saw on social media, we've been asking, we want to improve the podcast again next year, and a lot of people said hey, bring back the video. So we're experimenting a little bit with that. So hopefully this time it works how it should, and we'll be back on YouTube with that as well. So I set the trees to work on his sleepy face, but it looks better today. So
You didn't see, I went to our, just to bring it in, I went to our grandmother, but she has a cat and I'm allergic to cats. But I completely forgot I'm allergic to cats. And last night, of course, we had Christmas dinner.
how can you forget that?
Yeah, because I don't have cats and we had Christmas dinner and I was sitting at the table like normal with one eye here, normal, and one eye was like this. I could not see through the eye anymore. So I was like, it was Christmas.
So you got reminded that you were allergic to cats.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah.
Okay, so as in all of our episodes, we'll go over your career a little bit here, how you started, where you went until you are today, and then we'll go to the funnier stuff later on. So I've heard you've been quite, let's say, the star in go-karting. I actually don't remember if we ever raced against each other, but I remember you at the racetrack, definitely. So maybe you can tell us how it started. Is it from your family, your dad? Did you start this in your family, or?
Well, I remember you. That's for sure.
Good or bad?
Already, well, pretty good. I don't remember Dries at all, but I remember Lawrence. I remember you with the, was it GSK or
GKS.
GKS, yeah.
JKS? Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the colors, the red and orange and stuff, and you were like the star, you know.
I don't see myself as a go-kart star, but anyway.
No, but anyway, you know, it was you were one of the drivers I remember looking up to from Genk. But yeah, I will try to make the story not too long because and if I have to go through all the years, it's gonna be quite long. But anyway, for me, it started a little bit different because I didn't had a dad or a granddad who was racing. Obviously, my dad always liked cars and doing crazy stuff on the highway and driving crazy cars that he built himself and so on, you know. But it was never like he was racing and then he told me his daughter should go racing. For me, it was more a coincidence. I tried a go-kart on a holiday in the south of France when I was 7 years old. It was one of those small go-karts that was basically driven by coins. So you could put a coin in.
I remember doing that with Emily.
You know, so it was really just like all of us has tried as kids, I guess, for fun. But I was quickly into it. I remember there was this red go-kart. It had a Ferrari sticker on. It was back then a Ferrari sticker, and it had number 1 on. And I was like, I need to drive in that one. And that's basically how it started. I told my parents after the holiday, I would like to do this again. And they were like, how do you do this? You know, how do you become a driver, you know?
Okay.
And then I started in an indoor rental go-kart club. I was driving there every Sunday night together with my older sister. I didn't have my own race suit or my own helmet, so I came there every Sunday. I picked out my yellow, disgusting helmet that every 5,000 people had already drove with. And I had a neon yellow race suit, or greenish, and it was not really a suit, but I don't know what it was. But back then it was like, it was the outfit. And that was basically just there every Sunday having the time of my life. And then we got our first go-karts, my older sister and I, in Christmas present, which is now, we got the first go-kart like almost 20 years ago.
Okay.
And that's basically how it started. Then we started to race on normal go-kart tracks in Denmark. And step by step, I got permission by the Danish Federation because I was too young, but we wanted to get outside of Denmark to race. So I started to race in Holland and Belgium. So we went a lot to Genk, Marienburg, and just doing laps and laps and laps. And there is not a place in Europe where my dad didn't take me, the go-kart and the van. He drove to Serra in Spain. He drove all over Europe, and we were just racing as much as possible. So, yeah.
You were racing for what's it called, PDB, right?
Peter
Bruy.
De Bruy. He was the first one who actually gave me an opportunity to race for free, because I think the first 3 years my parents were just cashing out. You know, they were spending every single euro they had until there was nothing left. But I had two sisters, so, you know, they tried to make me race, but besides that, they also had to take care of the other two kids. And at one point, you know, with go-kart, it goes so quick. They were just spending a lot of money because they saw that I really wanted it, but they also saw that there was potential. But at one point, they realized, look, it's not possible anymore. We cannot keep paying. And we had met Peter De Bruy a year before, and it was in 2004, I think. My mom, she called Peter and she said, look, we cannot come to the next race because there are no more money. And Peter was like, don't worry, I will bring 2 chassis, I will bring some engines, just send her there and we will take care of her. And he was basically the first one who gave me an opportunity because he saw that there was some potential as well.
Yeah.
And so I was with a long time with Peter, and, you know, he is giving a lot of drivers opportunities in their groups, I know. But he was the one who basically kickstarted my career in go-kart and gave me a chance, which was very...
That's nice.
Yeah.
Which series did you do go-karts in? Was it Rotax or was it KF or...
I never did Rotax. For me, Rotax were for the losers, you know, like...
Yeah, that's what I did.
It's a discussion I also have with Jules, because he also did Rotax and stuff. And...
Well, then it's true.
Then it's definitely for the losers. No, no, we did KF. I did KF, you know, we did Mini, and then I went to the KF categories, KF3, KF2, and so on. I never managed to go to KZ because then we changed into cars, but I did 10 years basically of go-kart, being a factory driver with Peter to begin with, and then I got a deal with CRG with Giancarlo Tonini, who also gave me an opportunity, and I was there for a long time. And I would say in my go-kart years, the Tonini family was basically my second family.
I remember I was there as well, Giancarlo. I forgot the name of his son, was Eddie, right? And then you had the 2 daughters and the mom, and then...
Eddie, and then you have Vanya, who was the oldest daughter, and you have Nicole, and big family team. Yeah.
I only did it for like 10 months, and that's where I had my big accident, so I didn't really
I remember that.
Had a lot of time with it, but I do remember that. It was nice.
One of the things I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was not a nice memory.
No. Well, I don't have a memory of it, so that's maybe
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
better.
maybe that's better. But no, then I was with COG, and basically I got kicked out at one point from the team because I couldn't really control my anger. So I had a race in the UK. It was the European Championship. We did in the UK, and we had a big opportunity to win the European Championship. But we knew that with the engines we were racing with back then, it was not always that the engines were lasting for
Okay.
race. So they would break down, and we were in a very good position to win the championship. I was starting P1 for the final, and the engine broke, as we kind of knew could happen. It broke, and it broke right in front of where the boss was standing. So I stopped on the grass at the track. I found my mechanic. I looked at him, and I found the CRG team, and I went like this to all of them, and I went super angry. I was just super pissed, a lot of emotions, and I was just, and I went out of the go-kart, and I just went like this, and then they kicked me out. So then I got kicked out of CRG. It was not so nice, to be honest. I made a big mistake.
Well, in the end, those. I mean, it's always good to hear these things, because I always think a lot of younger kids listen to us and often think, oh, they had the perfect life, the perfect story, and achieving the perfect result. But it's never like that. Everybody makes big mistakes, and you learn from it. And I'm sure you never did it again after that.
No, absolutely. I mean, today I say it with fun. It's funny.
Yeah.
And I speak. I have seen Chinini a lot of times after. I bought a case set from him in the COVID times. Everything is fine. We smile about it today because, I mean, it was a moment of stupidity, but like you say, it's something I never did again. But, yeah, it's also who I am as a person, also as a driver. But obviously, it has made me, I am who I am. And for sure, I've done a lot of stupid stuff, but people also remember. They were like, she was the girl that always gave back because I had to. So if guys were pushing me off in go-kart, which they did. My dad always told me, like, the only reason, the only way they will stop doing it is that you give them back, like, because it will just continue. So I had to become like they were to me. And it gave me a lot of enemies on the track. But like, even today, I'm not racing to get friends. Like,
no,
it's not a goal for me at all to be friends with anyone at the grid. I am happy to speak with people, and also I'm not the most social person. So in the end, I am not speaking with that many, but I'm not walking around on the grid before a race and being like, yeah, let's be friends and so on. Like, the guys that are my competitors are my competitors. So it's very simple.
No, I understand them, because I feel exactly the same way. And sometimes people then think, oh, or let's see, Mike is always arrogant or whatever. But no, it's
that's okay. You're being arrogant.
Yeah. You're there. I mean, my kids as well. I'm there if I have a couple of people I like and friends with. That's fine, but I don't need to. I don't want to be liked by everybody. I am who I am, and either you like me or you don't like me. I'm not there to be liked. And then that's probably the same as what you were saying.
Yeah.
Tracy likes to be liked by everyone, but...
Yeah, I like to lick balls by everyone. No.
That's maybe a strange expression with our first female guest of the podcast.
Well, that's okay,
Never mind.
I'm used to this environment and those elements like that. I am with Jules, so I listen to quite a lot of bullshit all the time.
Yeah.
So nothing new for me. Yay.
No, but I'm not really like that I want to be, but I just have a good relationship with people I like, and it's not like I will think about it when I'm racing them. At the end, when you're racing, you do your own thing. offside racing. I mean, I'm friendly to them, and we have a good time. We have a laugh, we have a drink. But everybody knows as soon as you go racing, you can be best friends. You can share a room, share a house. But anyway, when you start racing,
it's racing.
Yeah,
I do when I'm racing someone I know very well, or am, say, friends with. I do feel different than someone I don't know or don't like. So whether that's good or bad, but not sure. But
I remember watching the race start in Bahrain this year when your start was not so good, Laurent, and Jules was coming very close to you, and I was like,
what?
oh my God, Jules, stay away from him. Don't do anything, okay? Please. That was everything I was worried about, It's just like, don't touch Laurent, please.
It's. I mean, it doesn't make it easier, but
no, but that's the thing. But anyway, going back to that, I mean, in go-kart, it was very specific because,
sure.
I mean, I did so many races. I did 30 races a year in go-kart, and you were much closer in the go-kart paddock than you are here, I feel. So sometimes it also became personal, the fights on track, big fights, like proper fights off the track, hitting drivers, people having their
on the track.
Like grabbing the helmet and like I have actually quite some strong pictures of that from a photographer because when I got kicked out from CRG, Viral offered me a factory contract. So luckily I was in a go-kart the week after in a different brand. And I arrived as a factory driver in Viral, and there was another Danish driver. And I was like, look, I am going to be number one in this team, whether you see it or not, So we were racing in Suera in Spain in a WSK round, and the Viral there was flying. So we were P1 and P2, and we were fighting because we were like, okay, we need to show who is going to be the number one driver in the team. And we went side by side, and then suddenly we started to touch wheels, and it ended in a crash. None of us finished. We both crashed right in front of Ronnie Sala, the boss of Birol. He was not so happy. And we came back to the pit lane, and of course I blamed him, he blamed me, and
sure.
the driver.
Yeah.
And I just showed him that, look, you are not going to be number one. So I took him, and I really made sure that he understood that I was here in this team now, and he could be there, of course, no problem, but he was number two. And I think he understood it because after that there was no issues. And after the incident, the boss of Birol, he took us into the truck, closed the door, and then we got proper lesson. Obviously, if this was a no-go and so on, but also funny moment of fighting for your position, which I find more difficult. It's more difficult now in whatever we are doing in endurance racing and so on. It's more difficult to be number one, I feel, when you're sharing the car with others, and so I find it more difficult. But yeah, I was fighting for my position.
We'll come to that point a bit more in later in detail as well, because I guess it does somehow. I mean, I'm curious to hear it from you. As female against the guys, you have to be sometimes probably even stronger at that. But we'll come to that more detail after. So you had a very successful go-kart career. After that, by Dries. Nice chat. You went into Formula cars, and then how did your career evolve after that? I know you had also some difficult years, but maybe you can tell us in more detail.
Yeah, I think like a lot of other a lot of other drivers, it went up and down. Like for me, I did many years in go-kart. I did 10 years because we didn't really know where to go next. Obviously, my dream was always, when I was younger, I was like, I want to go to Formula One, all those things that we all say when we are young and naive and have no clue about how the world is actually working.
Yeah.
But I quickly realized that, of course, I was never going to go to Formula One, so it was not the way to go, but we still tried to go into the Formula direction. So after go-kart, I went to drive a year in Formula Ford in Denmark, which was a good learning year. It was very basic. You learn to drive with gears, you learn to drive with clutch, you learn to drive with mechanical grip. So very basic racing. Not a lot of cars, but anyway, it was a good way of learning how to drive, let's say, a car. And then we were like, so Formula Ford, what is the next step? It's Formula Renault somehow, or back then it was Formula ADAC, or it was that direction. We couldn't find the sponsors. We didn't have the money, It was like, there is no way we're going to find 300,000-400,000 euros or whatever was needed. So we started to look for scholarship options or selection shootouts, stuff like this. And back then, FIA Women in Motorsport did a selection for women in motorsport, where you could win year in the Scirocco R Cup, which was the support race for DTM back then in 2012. I did that 2012 and 2013. I went to the scholarship, I won it. Sarah was there too. Sarah, teammate. That's where we met the first time. Back then, she was already, when I looked at her CV back then, because she was racing everything, I was like, shit, I'm never going to have a chance against that, because it said Lamborghini, Audi, because Sarah is a little bit older than me. So I remember when I was Googling her, I was like, that's going to be difficult, because I came from go-kart, Formula Ford. That's it. I've never driven a race car with roof or anything. So, but anyway, in the end of the day, a car is a car. I went there, I won the selection. I got 1 year for free in the Scirocco Cup, supported by Michelle Gatting and Kate Müller, who were my mentors. It was a 1 year contract, but they extended it to 2 years because they saw good potential. And it was a nice way for me getting into the Volkswagen group. I was fighting a lot with Kelvin van der Linde, Gordon Pepper. Had some intense fight with Kelvin.
That was the same. Year that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they were difficult. Those guys coming from South Africa, because they had driven so much polo their own tracks in South Africa. So they came and they were. I mean, especially Jordan was fast, but at that time Kelvin was a little bit faster. So he was the guy to beat. But fucking hell, we had some fights, big fight. God, I almost ran his dad over because I was so pissed at that.
So I get more scared if I listen to it. I will not touch it. You're right.
Well, you hypercar driving, you're old. No. But anyway, in the moments, intense and stuff. But in the end of the day, it was very nice to race against Kelvin, because he was the guy to beat. I didn't beat him because he fucked up my championship, so I still own him.
Well, now we need to get the details from that.
He pushed me off. He pushed me off in Ostersleben.
Okay.
At one of the last rounds, and obviously he got also a big penalty for what he did. After the race, I waited for him the whole up. We got the check-in flag, and then I was waiting for him in the pit lane. And then he came behind me in the pit lane, and I started to brake test him big time. And then he crashed into me several times. He was also pissed. I was more pissed. And then we came down to our tents where we had to park our cars, and I ran to him, and he was sitting in the car, and I tried to get him out of the car, but he didn't have taken his seatbelt off, so I started to punch him, and his sister came and pulled me away, and it was very, very intense. And when we were driving down to the tents, I saw his dad. His dad was always with him at the races. So I saw his dad walking, and I was in the car, I was steaming out. I ran you over, so I just turned towards him. I didn't do anything, okay? It was just...
He's still alive.
Yeah. But yeah, again, fun to laugh about now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
now. But yeah, so that was Scirocco Cup for 2 years. I did that, and then I went into the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany.
Yeah,
I saw that with Attempto racing. That must have been fun times with Akin.
Yay! So that was first of all a very short season. We had a deal at the beginning of the year. This deal changed suddenly, and he wanted a bit more than what we could offer.
okay.
So I did 3 races, I think, and then we stopped because I couldn't pay
Yeah.
him what he wanted. Also intense. It was quite
Yeah.
intense year, honestly, with Akin. It was just a year when the cars changed from the 997 to the 991, generation 1 of the Cup car, and Attempto with the 997 Cup car. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He was doing something, I think with the gearboxes or something. I cannot remember it, but that was kind of the place to be with when you wanted to go to Carrera Cup. It was with Attempto.
Mm-hmm.
But with the new car, it was a bit more intense, and honestly, I was not ready for it. I came from Scirocco Cup, front-wheel driven car, driving on gas, not even on fuel. So we were driving on gas in the
True.
Scirocco Cup.
Oh, really?
True, yeah.
So we were not even driving on fuel, having a certain driving style, driving a front-wheel car, and then coming into the
You go to the other way.
wheel driven car. And the thing was, with Carrera Cup, the Carrera Cup Germany was crazy competitive. 36 cars on the grid. But I did one test day before the first race in Hockenheim, and we couldn't do practice start because they were struggling a lot with the differential. So for the first race in Hockenheim, for the race 1 was my first race start ever in a Cup car. So I was completely lost, I had no clue what to do, how to do it. So, it was just a season, or it was just 3 races of driving around in the back of the field, looking like, honestly, a proper idiot. It was embarrassing. It was really like...
Yeah, especially back then, those cars were very difficult to drive and to learn how to drive as well. Yeah. Even Kevin tells me this every time. So when he drove, so.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But if you were quick in those cars, I mean, it was then you were good, and I was just not quick, and I was not ready for it at all, And when I look back at it now, I was like, shit, it was a shame because it was just something I didn't have the skills for. Back then, I didn't have the right people around me to teach me how to do it, because Akin, the nice guy, but he couldn't teach me how to do it,
Yeah. And after that, you had a difficult period, right?
Then I stopped racing, basically.
You proper stopped, or you did like one race there, one race here, or nothing?
I didn't race for 1 full year. So basically that year, it was in 13, I was invited to do the Porsche Junior selection. I was doing the selection. We were 20 drivers to start with. In the end, I became one of the final 4, together with Sven Müller, Kelvin, and a French guy, I cannot remember his name. We were all there, and in Oschersleben. And it was just a year that Porsche, instead of taking 2 juniors, they decided just to take 1.
Okay.
So when we did the test in Oschersleben, Michael Christensen was there as the reference driver, and I remember that Sven was going out for his run after Michael, and we could see immediately that actually Sven was faster than the reference. So we were like, yeah, we're not going to win. That's for sure. So that's not going to happen. So Sven won the selection, and Kelvin and I, we could go back home. And then, it was a bit difficult to go out to sponsors and be like, hey, I did 3 races in the German Carrera Cup and finished P28. And then I did the Porsche Junior selection, and I was not selected. Like, people don't want to buy that, they don't.
No.
So I had a full year,, without racing, got into a very bad depression. because, you know, suddenly
Yeah, just wanted to ask, how did you cope with that? Because
life stopped. I guess we all know that this sport, we love it quite a lot, even though it can be tough sometimes. It's what we do. It's what we are good at. It's what I had been doing my whole life. I was always somehow at a track somewhere, you know, and racing. And suddenly I was just not racing anymore. And my mom was doing a lot to try and find sponsors, and we were doing a lot of work of trying to dig some money together. But in the end, it was just not possible. So it was very tough, and got into a big dark hole, I would say, to be honest, because I had to make a decision, you know, is this it? You know, am I really going to say, okay, I tried and I did not make it? Or will I continue to try and achieve all the dreams that I would like to achieve? So obviously I continued and got some opportunities. I worked for many years with Porsche as an instructor.
okay,
So that was kind of my drug of getting to drive a bit. You know, I got to drive nice Porsches. Sometimes I was lucky I got to drive the Cup car when I was lucky to get those kind of events. I moved to Leipzig because I wanted to commit fully to the instructor job, to become a full-time instructor at Porsche, because I wanted to try and see if I could get in a way with Porsche doing something like that. It didn't work, but that was my work, was being an instructor. And then
would that have been your plan B, let's say, if racing would never work out, or was it always in the back of your mind, like that would be your path back into racing? Or
yeah, I mean, to be a full-time instructor, honestly, no, because at one point that's also like it's fun for a few days. It's fun.
Not an easy job.
It's a lot of work for not a lot of money, let's say. You know, so I knew I could also not do that for the rest of my life. I mean, I know some of the instructors that I worked with 7-8 years ago, they are still at Porsche doing the same job, you know. So I mean, there are people that does it, but it was not for me, you know, because I would need my drug of driving a race car. What point?
Yeah. And how did you then get into the contact of, well, then you became part of Iron Links? How did that contact came on the road or on the path?
Yeah, well, basically, so in 14, no racing at all. In 15, in the end of 14, back then, my previous boyfriend, his dad was really into racing, and they had a shipping company. They had a good business. So his dad decided to be like, okay, I'm going to sponsor you and I'm going to make you race in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
So his dad decided to give me the funding to go racing nationally in Denmark. So basically in 15, 16 and 17, I was racing nationally in Denmark. In the series that we had in Denmark, it was all like we were driving V8 Mustangs with 8 shifting, clutch, heel toe, all those big, heavy cars with a nice sound, which was 6-7 races a year. But I was racing, so happy days. I got a lot of fans in Denmark. Then I got some good sponsors in Denmark, so I could make that kind of work that I could race in Denmark. And I was like, yeah, maybe that's gonna be it.
As a start.
Will be that's gonna be, at least I'm racing.
And you can build from there, and then
exactly. But I also knew, like, we have we have 2 proper tracks in Denmark. That's it, that you can race on, like proper race on. And you know, when you've done those 2 tracks in a row, and you're like, I would love to go to Spa, or I would love to go to, you know, whatever track anywhere in Europe. But yeah, then I got an email one day from FIA Women in Motorsport, that was sending out an email to, let's say, all the women in motorsport. It was just clearly an email. They sent it out to everyone. It was very short. It just said, we are looking for somebody who is interested in testing a Ferrari 488 GT3 please call this number. His name was Thomas. Call this number or send him an email. And normally I'm not a person that calls, first of all, because I'm shy and I don't like to call people. But I was like, that's an opportunity to race a car. It didn't mention Deborah. It didn't mention anything linked with Iron Links or Deborah that I'm linked to now. But I called this number and I was like, hello, my name is Michelle Gatting. And I kind of expected him to be like, yeah, I know who you are. But he was like, I have no clue who you are. Like, who are you? And I was like, shit, that's a bad. He doesn't know my name. How am I going to sell this? How am I going to get this opportunity? And he was like, yeah, thank you for calling. I have a lot of people calling, sending emails. I will let you know. And I was like, great. I'm not going to get the opportunity to test this Ferrari 488 GT3. But then Sunday night, I got a phone call back from him. He was like, yeah, I think it's your lucky day because I was in Monza this weekend and I saw a Danish driver and I went to ask him about you. And luckily, you kicked this driver's ass in Denmark several times. And he spoke very highly about you. So we're going to give you the opportunity to come and test. So that kind of opened my door to Deborah, Claudio, and the Piccini brothers, who are a big part of the project as well. So I went to do a test in Misano with them, and Rahel was there. And then there was 2 other girls there, and we had 2 days of testing, 1 day in the dry, 1 day in the rain. I never drove a GT3 car before, because the last car I drove was the Cup car. And I was like, I knew this was going to be my chance. I am gonna go for it, and either I will bend it and put it in the wall, or I am gonna make them know who I am and make them remember my name. And it went very well. I mean, especially in the rain, they said, look, this is impressive. I was very fast, but they were like, we have to stop you because we don't know who you are and you are driving sideways and aquaplaning. They're like, we don't want you to crash the car, but we have seen enough, let's say, compared to what they expected, And that's basically how it started with Deborah and Claudio and the whole Iron Dames. Is that I think I made them a little bit flat, but it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I knew it's all or nothing.
Yeah, but that's cool that then it worked out. I mean that it was nice and that everything worked as you.
Yeah,
planned.
It was like I didn't have a name. I came there. Rahel was there, Audi driver for 11 years, former GM driver. I was like, we didn't know if they were going to pick 1 or if they were going to pick 4 or if we had no clue. But I just knew that I was up against somebody who had a bigger name in motorsport than me, clearly, and, so I was like, I need to make sure.
It was your one shot.
Exactly, to prove them that they need to take me, because I'm younger than Rahel and so on. So it was a good opportunity that obviously changed my life.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious that it worked out pretty well. I mean, the last couple of years, you've had tremendous success, and I mean, you guys pretty much race everything in the GT car by now, which is cool to see. And I think, if I understood it well, now a couple of months ago, you achieved one of your, I mean, you maybe achieved more dreams, but one of your bigger dreams to become a factory driver at the brand Porsche. So I guess that makes it quite fulfilling.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for sure, it's a huge achievement for myself. And I think what's very important right now to point out is that I think we all know that these years and the upcoming years and the future, there's going to be a lot of attention on female drivers, which of course for me, it's good. It has given me the opportunities with Deborah and with the Iron Dames. But also, I started with the Iron Dames 7 years ago, and I managed to get a contract now, 7 years after I started. This means that it took me 7 years to develop as a driver, as a person, enough for a manufacturer to give me an opportunity. For me, it's always been important that they have given me the opportunity because they actually believe that there is potential. Not because they are like, okay, she's a girl, it's good for our brand. For sure, this is also one of the reasons. But I didn't just want to be like, yeah, we take you, we're going to give you a label, you are a Porsche driver, or you're a Lamborghini driver, or you're whatever.
You wanted to earn it, let's say.
I wanted to earn it, and I am far from top drivers factory level in terms of driving, but I believe that if I get an opportunity, I can get closer to that level. And this is exactly what I hope is going to happen in the near future, is that I can get the chance to race as an Iron Dame, but with male factory drivers on a car together. To learn as much as possible and to see what is my level actually. Because I've been racing for 6 years now only with female drivers, and we have all raised our level quite significantly, I would say, over the years. But I also know that mostly I am the one setting the level on the car, and I would love to try and, let's say, be sharing a car with you, Lawrence, on a course and be like, okay, you're the one setting the bar. How big is the gap actually? And how much more am I able to push myself to become better? So this is what I really hope is going to happen in the future, is to get a chance and to race with male drivers and not to be the weak driver on the car. Let's say.
Well, it gives you a good opportunity to do that now. But I think you...
Is it Jacqueline having a nap on the back, or?
Yeah, I was wondering.
If that would have been Jacqueline, I would put different rooms. No, it's one of the... So I'm at my parents-in-law's house. It's one of the dogs. It's an English bulldog.
It's a dog, yeah?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Just to
Hope the AI program takes it out of the sound. If not, enjoy it.
I think it's good.
Yeah. But you guided a bit in that direction, and it's obviously, I think, interesting. I'm generally interested to hear it, and a lot of people as well, because, I mean, fact is, motorsports is still a sport which is dominated a bit by males. There's no different categories, not female, male. I mean, there is now with W Series, but generally it's not. How is it to be a female in that environment? Does it make, what's more difficult? What's more easier? Is it annoying? Because I bet you get this question at every time somebody asks you. So, yeah, fuck, it's really snoring. How do you cope with that? I mean,
obviously I'm very used to it. I've been in the environment for my whole life, so I love it. It's
hang on a minute.
Let's say.
Yeah, it stopped.
Either way. Okay. No, for me, it's never been an issue to be in this environment. I really like it. For sure, getting into the endurance level of motorsport was difficult in the beginning because I felt like I didn't really belong there. People were a bit skeptical about the project itself. You could see that they were like, yeah, it's probably just a project that is going to be there for 1 year and then we are not going to see them again. Obviously coming back year after year and proving that we could actually do good stuff and we could fight on the track, and when things went well, we could fight for podiums, and when they went very well, we could fight for wins. You could feel a change in the behavior of all the other drivers in the paddock. Like, I look up to a lot of the drivers in the paddock still. And, like I said in the beginning, people could not even look at us or say hi. Now the drivers are saying hi to us. Some are even shaking our hands. You feel much more respected in the paddock.
Part of it.
Which I think has been important also for myself, because I want to be respected for the stuff that we are actually doing. I understood that people don't want to respect us if we are just a pink car who is racing in the back of the field for P15. So then I understand that. Then I understand that they are like, okay, yeah, they're just the girls. And I know that there has been cases. I think Dries, you had an episode in Barcelona with our car.
Yeah, true.
It was not me. Just to mention that. I try not to stay in the way. Only Jules. I'm blocking Jules.
That's one of the.
No, but trying not to do those stuff on track where people are like, it's the girls, or like. I'm really trying to avoid it, because it's very easy for you drivers, for you guys, just to be like, yeah, but it's the pink car, it's the girls, so they are idiots in the end.
Which is actually also wrong, to be honest. To
it's
say
wrong
that fast.
But
it's a it's how do you call it in English? It's vooroordeel. Assumption. I don't know, whatever.
It's something. It's just because it's normal to say. Even I say it myself, if I'm driving on the highway and I'm driving behind some idiot and I'm overtaking, and I'm like, for sure it's a girl.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why would I say that? But it's just habits. It's just bad habits. And it still happens on the track that there are accidents, and it's very easy to say, yeah, but it's the girl. And I think for me, that is still the hardest part, is like, yeah, okay, we are the pink cars, but we are also, each of us are individual. We are, I'm Michelle, then we have Sarah, then we have Rael, then we have whatever, But so, like, one example, that we had a very unfortunate accident in Mugello for ELMS this year, where Rael had an accident with Claudio, who is basically our boss.
Yeah.
And very unfortunate accident. She hit him, put him in the wall. Big drama, big accident. Should never have happened. It happened. But basically, what ELMS posted, they of course posted the videos that thousands of people saw, first of all. But they wrote the pink Iron Dames car 85, and then they wrote the Claudio Schiavoni. They wrote the name of Claudio, but they just wrote like our car as it's the pink car. They didn't even mention the driver that was in the car. It was just like, it's the pink Iron Dames car 85 that had an accident with driver Claudio Schiavoni. Where I was a bit like, look, if I do a mistake, you can blame me. If Rael do a mistake, you can blame her. If Sarah do a mistake, you can blame her. It's,
Yeah.
But it's just always like, it's a pink car. It's easier to say it's the girl's car.
But as you said, it's becoming less and less and less. I think it would have been a lot worse 5 or 10 years ago. Right?
Yes, but that specific episode.
Yeah.
We are in 2024. Like, come on! I thought we were over that. That was just a little bit surprising. But no. Besides that, I think it's first of all, I would never want the sport to be divided by men and women.
No.
I think it's amazing that we have the chance to race against you guys, because you are the best. You are the one setting the benchmark. You're the one setting the bar for us. And my target as a driver is just to get as close to you as possible, and even, if I can, to go faster, And the only way as a driver, as any athlete, it's just you need to compare yourself to the best. And the case is just that in motorsport, the best drivers are men. It's very simple. So, and
do you think that's simply because there is more of them, more of men than females, so more chances to have somebody who's quicker, or do you think that in generally that by nature it's like that? It's obviously very difficult to answer, but
Yeah, but I don't think it's by nature. I think that in general, more men are. Okay, don't get me wrong, because obviously women are getting and females are getting huge opportunities now in racing, which I don't always believe is for the right reason. Even for me as a female driver, I don't agree with some of the female drivers that are getting opportunities because I don't think that they deserve that.
No.
But I think that men still has more opportunities. It's still easier for a manufacturer to believe in a male driver than in a female driver. I still think that in the end, the manufacturers and the team still don't believe that there is women that has the potential to be on the highest level. I believe that's not right. I believe that there is still a possibility to put women on, not a lot of women, but there are still opportunities that a woman can be on, let's say, on a high level, can be in hypercar. I don't believe right now that we have a woman who is ready to go to Formula One. I still think that's going to take 10 to 15 years before you're going to have one girl that has that has the skills to be in F1. But, again, maybe I'm wrong. It's just.
But is it then purely because there are less, it's a bit the same question, that there are not enough girls who, because also I'm not sure, but if there are also a lot of girls who, when they are young, they say, oh, I want to become a racing driver. Is it also maybe because of that there should maybe, that there are more girls thinking about that than if there will be some more talents, or there can be one massive talent that could get to Formula One? I don't know. It's
not enough. For sure, there's not enough girls. Also, I think that this is also something that we see that there are. There are more and more girls. Unfortunately, a lot of them doesn't have potential to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Good drivers. But we also see with the project with the Iron Dames, because we start to do more and more selection.
Also with go-karts and young
exactly
girls.
Exactly, with young girls. We also did some other tests where we are testing other girls. And here we see there are still potential out there. We had a test not too long ago where we were testing some girls and seeing when they get an opportunity to become an Iron Dame and to test the Porsche or whatever, and they are going out there and they are pushing for their life to get this opportunity. You see that there is actually potential. For sure, there are some girls that doesn't have potential, but there are also girls who doesn't know how to promote themselves, who doesn't know how to get involved into the sport. Then somehow we get their name, we give them an opportunity, we test them, and we are like, holy shit.
I guess it is, yeah.
So it's more like they don't know how to get involved or how to get started or who to get in touch with, or, so it's, but for sure, like I said, I still believe that the best out there are still you guys, the male drivers, but I also believe it can change, and you will see more and more women on the top level of motorsport.
I think it's very nice with I think her name is.
I just wanted to switch. I said it's a good way to switch to the next topic, because I'm getting messages. She's very concentrated because I'm walking around naked behind the computer. So maybe you can show us what Jules is doing.
Yeah, if they want you to say hello. It's not yet. Show your reindeer shirt. Come on.
Now he's shy. Oh, he can't talk yet.
So Jules is here in his reindeer Christmas shirt and his pajamas, pants, and enjoying life.
Well, now the whole world saw that, so thank you for that.
Now the whole world saw that, and he just had his voice operation, so he's very quiet. Thank God for that.
I hear that he's not allowed to talk for a couple of days. Is that something to enjoy, or?
It's been the best time of my life.
Yes, exactly.
Like, this guy is Driving me crazy. Please help me.
No, but I mean, we asked the same question to Jules, but how is it to be together with someone which is in this same racing? You race against them.
Thanks, Lauren, for pointing that out. Yes.
I wasn't coming to that yet, but that was the next question. But yeah, but I mean,
Your point of view, Michelle.
No, I mean, I can imagine from it there is nice parts to share the same passion, travel probably to the same things, but also I can imagine when I'm home, I'm also sometimes happy not to speak about motorsports, and I guess that's sometimes a bit more difficult if you're together with a partner who does the same thing. So,
especially with you.
I guess you enjoy it. If not, you would already kicked him out. So
exactly. Or he would have kicked me out. Anyway, no. Let's definitely start with the positives. It's nice to, of course, be with somebody that I share the same passion with. To be honest, the last 3 years with Jules has been. I've learned a lot from him as a driver, as a person, as how to be in this motorsport environment. In the end of the day, yes, he can be a pain in the ass. And as you guys also know him a little bit, he is quite something, a special character, a lot of energy, always has an opinion. But in the end of the day,
it's just
taught me a lot of stuff. He is very much so. But in the end, he has a very good heart, and he has really helped me to even this deal that I managed to get with Porsche. Of course, it was myself who did it, but in the end, he has really been pushing me to become better as a driver. I think in the end of the day, I cannot teach Jules anything on the driving. I can maybe help him a little bit more with stuff outside the driving and more of how to cope with certain things, which has to do with contracts and so on, where we have different points of view, where we see things a little bit different. Here, maybe I can give him some advice, but definitely on the driving side, on the setup of how to just talk about setup, I mean, is something that he's very detailed into, that he has taught me a lot of stuff about. So in the end, yes, we speak a lot about racing. Now that he has a deal with Alpine and he's a hypercar driver like you two big boys, obviously his mentality has also changed, and he's pushing me. He's like, the next step is for you is to go into hypercars, to get a test in a hypercar. And in the end of the day, I'm always like, nah, I'm not sure. I'm not a super confident person, but in the end, why not at least try to achieve it until you get a big fat no, until the right people are going to tell you, Michelle, you're not going to do it. So, but you're going to keep trying until you're going to get that opportunity. And this is the mindset that he has. So he has been the one pushing me to call and to say and to send emails, even though I've been like, okay, I'm going to send this email. I'm not sure, I might get fired. But
I guess you make you guys stronger each other by continually.
Yeah, that's the thing. So it has been, yes, of course. In the end, we are also very similar as persons, so we can have big fights. Two very stubborn personalities. Okay. So for sure, it's not always as pretty as it looks on Instagram.
Yeah, but for this, you don't need somebody in motorsport. I can also have Jacqueline.
Yeah, exactly. But and yeah, it's often about racing. Not often. It's all the time about racing, and even sometimes he is very driven by passion to the sport. I've never seen somebody who loves motorsport as much as him.
This I agree.
And even sometimes I'm like, can we not talk about racing for tonight or watch YouTube videos on our TV at home about racing? Because it's been a long season after 25 races this season. I'm like,
you need a break.
You need a break.
I can imagine.
He doesn't need a break.
But I agree that Jules is honestly also one of the most passionate drivers. I mean, with everything, with suits, so many races that we speak about. I said, like, are you doing 35 races? Yeah, it's nice to race every weekend. I'm like, it's nice to do something else than racing from time to time. But he's incredibly passionate about it.
Yeah,
but,
which is nice.
He loves. that's the thing. It's nice, and but again, I think we complement each other
balance.
in the end of the day. It's a good balance, and no, we have fun, and then the day after we kill each other, and then the day after it's like everywhere else.
Yeah, to the killing part. Apparently, I mean, you have your version of the Atlanta story. I guess you come to the killing part now. I mean, you brought it up, so.
Was it on purpose? Come on, just.
For sure, it was on purpose.
I was.
But I regret it. So just to start with that, I regret it. I'm ashamed of myself, and it was a mistake.
Is he Is he standing with the board behind it?
He's like, but yes, it was on purpose. To be honest, if you want to know my version of the story, last year it was a shit fucking year. I was pissed at everybody. I was pissed at everything. I was pissed at myself because I was slow in Atlanta. He won everything last year. Honestly, it was every time he went in the car, he won something, and it looked so easy for him. Everything he did last year.
Yeah.
Not this year. This year was more difficult, but last year. And then I don't know, something clicked in Atlanta in my head. When I saw the car behind, I never tried to stay in the way of pro cars. I know the pro cars by either by livery or by look. So I know when there's a pro car behind. So I try to stay out of the way. I mean, unless that I'm actually fighting with somebody. And I was just like, fuck you. Honestly, you've pissed me off that you had such a good season. You're winning everything. I had a shit year. So I just didn't want to let him pass, And I realized that this was not so good.
No, but I mean, it takes courage to admit it, and it's nice to hear. But then I guess that's one of the parts of being together with somebody else in the same. If one is winning a lot and the other one is not, or the other way around, it can make for a difficult situation at home.
Sure.
Let's say
it was pure jealousy last year. I was just jealous at him. He had.
Dries felt like that his whole life, so I know.
I have that with my sister, so don't worry, Dries.
It's
that.
I don't want to go into that.
No, I'm joking. Maybe that's my question to you later. No, but no, I'm not proud of the moment, and I would say, actually, I tried to make it up to them. So the race after was actually then Daytona this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, we were driving practice, I cannot remember what it was, and I saw the car coming behind, and I was like, okay, I'm going to show, because I was sure it was Jules in the car. So we came into T6 in Daytona just before going on the banking, and I saw the car behind. So I put the blinker on. I never put the blinker on for anyone. So I put the blinker on. I braked. I stayed fully right. I opened the door completely to let the car pass, the Sun Energy car, which was the car of Jules, and I was sure it was Jules in the car, and I was like, you see, now I'm letting you go. I'm showing you that I'm not doing it again, and I was so happy. And normally Jules, when he passed the pink car, he always puts the blinker on or has the lights or whatever to show that he's going away. Haha, bye, like an idiot. And he didn't put the blinker on, and I was like, okay, fuck you. And then after I saw him in the pit, I was like, seriously, you're not even saying thank you for letting me pass? It was like, I didn't drive yet.
So you blinked for somebody else.
So it was Lucas Stoll, that I let pass, and who didn't give a flying fuck about me letting him pass. He just thought that it was usual, that the pink car would move out of the way like that. And I was like,
you guys have to develop like a secret language. Yeah.
Yeah. The code language for Jules is flashing 5 kilometers before that he sees you. He just starts flashing, I'm like, yeah, okay, I've seen you.
We sometimes actually have that in Bahrain. You didn't notice, I think we were behind each other in the safety car, and I wanted to give you a sign it was me. We're not, girlfriend, boyfriend, but like two brothers. It's a bit of the same stuff sometimes, at least at track, but...
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah. We know it's each other. We try, but I think I tried to use my blinkers, but I actually don't really know where they are. So I
match it.
Me too.
so yeah,
Trying to figure it out.
I was pushing some buttons, but I didn't really do anything back. So I was like, it's not working what I'm trying to do.
Nope. Oh, they told me on the radio it's your brother. Like,
You have to read the driver manual, okay?
I did. I studied it out of my head a few times. I just forgot that part.
Okay, just the blinker part.
Yeah, because normally. But I guess are you together also? I see on Instagram you do a lot of sim racing together, or you have at least some fun with that. Do you guys have like competitiveness in that as well, or is it like everything you do together is like for competition or
Everything.
everything?
Yeah, but it's bad. You know, there's stuff we cannot do any of it together because then I might need to find another place to live in Andorra. So, no, it's really bad because Jules is a horrible winner and I'm a terrible loser. And so, yes, we can go in the sim like these days at Christmas. We've been a lot in the sim, doing a lot of Nordschleife, doing a lot of hypercar, you know, fun stuff like this. And it ends bad. It really ends bad. And if we go play paddle, which we cannot do anymore, play paddle together, it's not happening because I will kill him one day, I think. Yeah, because he is really annoying. You should try to play with him.
I never played.
I don't play paddle, but Dries is.
Yeah, okay, but then we could. Just so you can see what I'm up against, because it's really difficult to stay calm with him. Because everything with racket sport for Jules, he's very good at. So it's really annoying. And I'm a bit more like when I have to hit a ball, so I'm a bit more retarded, but I'm very competitive. And like everything like I've always done in my whole life, I want to be on his level, you know.
Yeah.
So if we are anything, I want to be on his level. And it's just, first of all, I do sim for track knowledge, but that's it. You know, I'm not a good. Okay, I'm a better racing driver in real than I am on the sim. But Jules is pretty good on the sim, I would say. It's just wait.
Yeah.
So we should go play paddle then, Dries, because I also suck at all those sports, and Dries is okay at things, so we can.
Oh, so the losers team against the good one.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have some.
Let's go for it. Yeah. Please.
All right, let's try that. Let's try that in the Daytona. We can play
Absolutely.
paddle. They have paddle course.
Yeah. Yes, let's do that.
Can play paddling or ride a bike.
No.
Let's do paddle.
Yeah.
Apparently you enjoyed it in Andorra.
The bike riding.
Yeah. Slightly hilly, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good training, but yeah, I wouldn't say I am at the point where I enjoy it. You know, I'm just trying to
Takes time.
the least pain in places I don't want to have pain. Let's put it like this.
Understood.
All right, on to the next one.
Do you have a question to us, or you should have a question to us? We're trying to build this in the podcast at the end, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more, again, with the competition. Obviously, I've seen stuff happening between you two on the track where I was like, okay. No, but how is it like, Lawrence, you're a factory driver with Porsche, and Dries, you are with BMW. Are you like, obviously you're in competition, but how is life like this being brothers? And yeah, I'm just wondering, when you see each other on track, have you actually ever been like in a real fight this year and in hypercar?
This year, not. I mean,
No.
we've had the Nürburgring thing, but
then we didn't really get into a fight.
Well, at the end of the year now in Bahrain, we actually worked together on that 1.5 stint after the safety car.
Yeah.
Because we generally spoke after the Nürburgring affair and tried to figure that out. But
we never really are like so. I mean, it's difficult to say. But it's because anyway, in racing, when you have your own car and you are racing different brands, every brand or every team has their own little secrets, you know. So these things for sure, Lawrence wouldn't share. I would maybe share. Then because then actually we don't speak so much during the race weekend actually, and also during we speak a lot of the races for the podcast or for a lot for normal life things with his daughter and other things. But yeah, on the racetracks we actually never really speak so much because I think Lawrence as well also I think I don't mind saying it, he's just a bit more, let's say, different in that, I think.
Yeah.
And he's just racing his race, and he probably sees me as a competitor as well. But then when we are racing together on the track, then it's different, I think. But I think building up to that moment, or let's say when we meet each other on track, it's at least that's how I experience it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if we are home like we were at Christmas a couple of days ago, we actually don't speak about motorsport. We did our podcast before Christmas dinner, and then we didn't speak about it because I think both of us we don't want to, and it's not that we are forced; it's just natural. But I think that the things on track we learned that the hard way 2 years ago, and now it works really well.
Yeah,
but it's still special in a way that. I mean, one of the best examples was actually Macau this year, because, if I don't win the race, I wish that you win the race. Rather, I mean, I could say that than somebody of Porsche, because I mean, you're my brother's family. But it's still a difficult situation, and also when we speak about something, because you cannot share everything, because I work for Porsche, you work for BMW, and although you want to help each other, like, I'm not gonna share what our strategy is gonna be or what we're gonna do in qualifying, and you kind of always like talk between the lines. But which is okay. But like, for example, an issue we had in Macau, like I was angry in Macau for multiple long story reasons with our performance compared to the others. Call it BOP or call it whatever you want. And I felt that some of them, one of each, of the main one, BMW, was taking the piss a bit at that. And I lashed out on that on X or Twitter. And in that case, it doesn't have anything to do with Dries. But obviously, because he's driving a BMW, for example, he took that personal and was a bit angry or disappointed, whatever you want to call it, to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, if I can never say anything in my life to BMW because you are there, I mean, that's a difficult situation. But there is no right or wrong in that case, I think. So, but in the end, like that, I mean, we speak about for 10 minutes and you maybe say, yeah, I'm an asshole, and then I say back, and then it's done. We never in our life had a fight longer than a day, maybe. So
no, there was actually pissed, like one of the most ones I've had, because we did at the end also got a complete change, because for sure Lawrence went all, and then also other drivers started.
It's not because of my tweet that you got a BOP change. If that's the case, I'm gonna tweet every weekend.
It's not at all. I think a lot of drivers share the opinion of Lawrence there.
Yeah, well, but anyway, but then after that we have a chat and we have a laugh. We laugh about it, and then it's fine. But it's never, like you said, even half, like we just chat for 20 minutes and then it's fine. And it happens maybe once a year or something.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
But yeah.
But on the other side, it's also like, I mean, you gifted it to our father as a painting, the picture of Fuji where we're both standing on the podium. It's also something we're really proud of, and something where we're going to be old grandpas, say, tell our family together. So it's also something unique in the way that we like with you and Jules.
Yeah. I saw the present that you gave to Lawrence of you and me.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was. I got a painting as well from my godmother or mother-in-law. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good idea for Christmas. So
yeah,
but it's very nice. It's a good.
Yeah. I actually was at his apartment the day before. I said, that's nice. You should give me the contact of that guy because in the new house it would look good. And
so you got yourself one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, just one question before finishing up. I know I was only allowed to ask one question, but I will ask.
You can ask as many as you want.
Now I'm sitting with you two. So, if you can give any advice to a new Porsche driver or a new factory driver, what would that be?
Porsche.
Yeah, but any factory, as a factory, it's.
I would say, first of all, enjoy the new things, because it's like, I don't know how your experience was with Iron Links, or how your approaches was going to race weekends, doing things, whatever. But I mean, being with a brand, there comes a lot more things. That you get invited for a lot more things. You have to go do more media stuff, and in the beginning, I mean, it's part of the game, which is fun. But I would for sure enjoy it, because I mean, you can be part of a group which is not for many. I mean, there's a lot of drivers who want to become a driver and get paid to do it. So that's number one. And then secondly, just ride the train. To be honest, it goes up and down, and
Yeah.
That's mainly it. And just enjoy working together with good people. Push forward for things you want to a certain limit. Don't do fuck you to them.
Yeah.
Because that will happen. That will happen. Those moments where probably you don't agree with everyone working there, but
Yeah.
that's all part of the game. At least in my experience.
Okay.
I would say always. There's something I learned through the years, and I think it's with Porsche, with other brands as well. Make your own opinion and your own assessment, because very often there's, between the drivers, call it gossip or rumors from, yeah, this guy is an idiot, or he said that, or probably we're gonna get fired, all of us, next year, and blah 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 blah. And in my experience, 90% of the time, it's not true, or half of it is true. And actually, that guy, you should make your own opinions about people, situations, projects, whatever. Because in the factory, drivers, they spend most of the time together, and like with everything, there's gossip, and it creates uncertainty, or whatever you want to call it, for yourself, and very often it's not even true. So make your own story. And second of all is go get it yourself. Like, if you want something, don't wait until they call you. Be proactive. I mean, don't the expression which Dries said at the beginning of the podcast, but I'm trying for something search for something else, if you know what I mean. But be genuine, but go get it yourself. And if you doubt, call and speak. I think nobody ever complained that the driver called too often or whatever. So yeah, and then just enjoy it. I mean, it's still driving a car like something else.
And never forget exactly. And never forget the faces or the names, because I had it a few times that I forgot who this was, and it was somebody important. I had no clue. Well, it's not a BMW, but I was like, I didn't even, I barely said hi, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh.
It was a board member.
Okay, copy that. Well, thanks, guys.
And if there's anything I told you already, you can always call me or text me if you want any Porsche related
Thank
stuff.
You. Appreciate it.
So going on to the last part, the quick questions. We have 3 of them.
Yeah.
What's the proudest achievement in your career so far?
I guess that was the win in Bahrain last year with the RSR.
Copy.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That was my standout moment where I proved that I don't crack under pressure.
Okay.
What is the achievement you still would like to get? I mean, you just achieved a very big box now, becoming a factory driver. What else is on the list?
On the list is now the next step. Okay, being a factory driver. Yes, I think winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans is nothing that is impossible for our project. So I would say something like that.
I think you have good chances with your team, the team you're in. So
Yeah, I think next year with Mantai in general, I think it's gonna be a very learning-full experience, successful experience. I mean, they won everything this year, so it will be tough, but we'll still take everything we can.
you'll enjoy your time there. I mean, it's a very enjoyable place to be, works, good people. So it will be nice.
Yeah, definitely looking forward.
The last one.
Yeah.
What advice would you give your younger self? Like the 15-year-old Michelle, what will you tell her now?
Don't take things so personal.
Okay.
So
And why is that?
Because I think in general, I still do it now. I take things very much to myself, even though it's not always pointed directly at me. But often as a younger Michelle, I took things very personal. I got very hurt and very offended by the fact that often it was the same reason that people just didn't believe that a woman or a female driver would ever be able to make it or to become a driver of the caliber that I want to become a driver of. So yeah,
Okay.
to my younger self, stop taking things so personal.
That's nice to hear. And for the younger people, whether they're motorsport or not, it's always I think interesting to hear those answers.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It was a very interesting episode. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thanks
A lot about yourself.
taking the time to hop by.
Of course. I almost forgot it, but yeah. Luckily, Lauren
Right.
texted me. Good. He's like, yeah, it's the 26th today. I was like, it's the 26th today. That's true.
We got it.
Sorry. Well, I guess I will see both of you in Daytona.
Yeah, that's true. I'll see you there.
Cool.
Enjoy the rest of the holidays with your reindeer boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, I will.
And I guess we'll see all of us in Daytona. You will be there as well again.
Daytona.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
perfect.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well. Enjoy. Have a good party. Not too much.
Yeah. We'll try not too much. And all the best. All the best.
Okay. Speak to you soon.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Bye.